What's going on, everyone? Isaac from LimitlessFC here to bring you the third episode of half a star to 5-star. Now, last time we ended off on a huge high. We are going into the championship game of the European Shield. Now, I know it's a preseason invitational tournament. It's not that exciting. However, in this series, the reason why it is so important that we do this invitational tournament is because our critical priority is our financial success. So with that in mind, I am looking to play this in order to get the extra funds. Now on to the next subject. We actually got a transfer offer for Aaron Chapman in the amount of £90,000 from Yeovil Town. I had a huge debate with myself. He is our starting goalkeeper. However, he is 27 years of age. So, with that in mind, I wanted to try and get as much money as I could out of him at this moment in time because his price is only going to be declining throughout the series. So, I went ahead and countered with £140,000. They came back with 115. We eventually settled on £120,000. Now, I understand he is our starting goalkeeper, but we have a second goalkeeper on the bench. Now, he is a lone goalkeeper. However, I want to try and bring in a young, talented, high potential goalkeeper that will grow with our team and eventually become the first string goalkeeper. With Chapman possibly on his way out, one of the players I'm looking to replace him with is Eregenet Murik from Manchester City. He's 6'6", 18 years old, 63 overall right now. And with a value of £550,000, he's someone I'm looking to bring in for very cheap. I'm hoping to bring him in either within this transfer window, maybe the next transfer window, or the first of next year, because I think he could be a huge asset to this team. He would be able to grow with our team. We could start with them in League 2 or League 1, and I feel like he could become a Championship or Premier League goalkeeper. So, we're going to go ahead and get into this game versus Halmstad's BK. Now, if you have not seen the first episode, you should probably pause it right now, go back and watch that episode, because we did play Halmstad's BK in our first game. That ended in a 1-1 draw. It was very boring, and this was a lot of the same. The first half was so boring. It was so hard to break down Halmstad's. They just were so solid defensively, and I'm showing you a couple of the clips of the chances. They just weren't great chances. We would get into the attacking third and take a bad touch or lose the ball, and as you could see, I got really frustrated, so I got a little bit impatient. When I took the shot with Key, I should have finished the move, but as you could see, there was only 3 highlights really, and you're going to take a look at these stats and you're going to say, wow, this is a extremely boring game. That's exactly how I felt. Now, I'm a huge Ultimate Team player. I like career mode. However, I'm not a career mode savvy type of guy. So this absolutely bored me to death. And as you can see, 4 shots, 2 on target. We're going to need a lot more in the second half if we're looking to bring home our first piece of silverware. So I said, right, okay, I got to get on the ball. I've got to make something happen. And we start off with an absolute bang. Now, Jackson plays the ball into Connolly. Connolly is a guy you do not expect to see getting forward in this portion of the field. He is a center defensive mid. He is our captain, and he lays a great shot into the bottom left-hand corner. Not a phenomenal shot. It's definitely a center defensive mid type of shot, but great shot nonetheless. Keeps it out of the goalkeeper's reach and gets his second goal in the European Shield, which is huge for us. Gives us a little bit of an advantage. However, I was a little bit nervous because Halmstad's, one, they're difficult to break down, and two, we haven't been playing very well offensively. So with that in mind, I brought in a couple of guys, Lake Hawk McLeod, who I'm actually pretty excited about. When I first saw him, he's not a high overall player. However, he is pacey, and I've played him in a center defense, in a center mid role, replacing Connolly before, and he does a great job. With that pace, he's able to run around the midfield and make things happen. I also brought in Scott Brown to just bring in some extra legs in the midfield because I was nervous about Halmstad's getting back into the game. And we get really lucky right here. Nolan picks up the ball in a good position and easy as you like, just places it in the bottom left-hand corner. Probably the easiest goal he's going to get. But he makes it 2-0 for Accrington Stanley, and we can smell the championship, that European Shield coming to the club, our first piece of silverware. All we have to do is see out this victory. With that said in mind, it's never that easy in FIFA. Halmstad's actually go on an offensive here late in the game. 80th minute, I know it's late on, however, they're absolutely applying the pressure. As you can see, tons of men forward. So I just needed to bring in a couple of fresh legs, get some defensive players out there, and we end up making a great play. Now, as you can see, McLeod on the ball, plays the ball into Key into Jackson. Jackson finds a great pass into the substitute Brown. Brown places that top left-hand corner, and that should seal the deal. 3-0 to Accrington Stanley over Halmstad's. Much better in the second half. It was a complete turnaround from the first half. We're ending up in good positions. We're getting chances, and we're not letting Halmstad's get back into it. If you went over and watched the first game, that was the problem in the first game when we played them. We didn't take our chances, and we allowed Halmstad's a little bit too much leeway in order for them to get a goal. So with that, it ended 3-0, our first piece of silverware, and I understand it's only the Invitational Cup. However, this is going to be huge for the club. If we're looking to take this team, who is a half-star team, and develop them, especially with our restrictions financially, we're going to need every bit of money, of cash, of pounds we can get. So with that said in mind, we're going to start making some moves. I'm not going to have a second game in this episode because there is a big gap between now and the first game of the season. So we're just going to go through a couple of things real quickly. With that win over Halmstad's BK, we end up getting £431,000 for our transfer budget. That also means we have reached our objective set by the board of making £880,000 profit by the end of the first transfer window, which is huge. The other thing, Billy Key ends up getting man of the tournament, which to me just seals the deal. I have been getting some transfer offers for Billy Key, but I don't think I want to let him go because we have a couple of big games that we're going to need him in, such as this Derby County game in the EFL Cup. That's going to be an absolutely great game, and that will be on the next episode, along with our first league game versus Colchester. Now, as you can see on your screen here, I have some of the players that I've been looking at, some requested or recommended players from my scout. He is here in England, so I just had him look at some of these players who are young, maybe mid to high potential players, just to bring them in and hopefully strengthen up the team. I also have some guys that were playing in other leagues that I've chosen to scout, and I'm not going to have the money to bring in a lot of these guys right off the bat. So with that in mind, I think the first player I want to go after is a goalkeeper. However, I decided not to go out and buy a player as of yet. I'm either going to look into free agents or possibly get a scout. I just feel like as far as our critical or our financial success goals go, since they're a critical priority, we have to not only get 880,000 pounds profit by the end of the first transfer window, but we have to finish the season with 2.6 million unspent allocated funds. So that's why I'm kind of going against buying someone in this transfer window. I may wait until January, maybe sell on someone like Billy Key or someone who's a little bit older to hopefully bring in some funds and put us over that benchmark, and then buy one of these players. It will probably have to be one of the cheaper players. However, I feel like these type of players are players that can come in and immediately make an impact. Even though they're young, they will make an impact and grow with our team. With that in mind, we still have some depth issues as far as the team goes in the defensive part of the team. So I went out and I just looked at all the free agents. Anyone 25 years or younger, I went out, and if they had decent stats, I just scouted them to see how much they were going to be asking as far as wages go. Just because if you've ever played a career mode and you've started with a League 2 team, you know this situation very well. It gets into November, December, you have 3 games a week, and you've got to rotate your players, or else your players are dead by the 60th minute. So I just went out and I tried to find a few players that we could just bring in, possibly for very cheap, just to bring in as rotational players, just to fill in some gaps. We don't have solid right backs. We have one solid left back. We have a couple of center backs that can play left back or right back. However, I'm not too secure with those guys. So one of the players that I loan listed at the start of the season was Regan Ogle. Crew Alexander came in with a offer to take him for 1 year on loan. I went ahead and rejected that just because I feel like we're going to need some of that depth later on in the season, and I feel like he'll get more playing time here, even if he is a rotational player, than if he went to Crew Alexandra. Also, we received a couple of transfer offers for Billy Key. Now, for 570,000 pounds, that's a lot of money, and we could probably use that money. However, I feel like Billy Key is going to be the main player and the most important player for our team throughout the season. So I went ahead and rejected both of those offers and blocked all future offers. I'm hoping to keep Billy Key in the club for at least this transfer window and hopefully next transfer window. But we also got a transfer offer for Mark Hughes. Now, with Mark Hughes, I had an internal debate because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep him because he is an older center back, or if I wanted to keep him in the team to just kind of help as far as depth-wise. I went ahead and rejected the offer because we have a few loan players at the moment, and those loan players actually leave our team in January. I went ahead and rejected the transfer offer. I was going to try and negotiate it. However, I did reject that offer. One offer that I did actually accept out of all these offers that we received was the offer for Scott Brown. For 71,000 pounds, he was going to be a backup player for me, and he's 32 years old, so I wanted to go ahead and get him out of the club right now. I know 71,000 pounds isn't going to make a huge difference. However, it may help a little bit. because I went out and got ourselves a scout. Now, Lewis Moore is actually going to come into the squad. I know you're probably thinking, why didn't you just go for the 1-star scout? Well, I want to hopefully bring in some young, high potential players to develop and then go ahead and sell in January or at the end of the year. So I went ahead and set him to scout in England. He's going to be going out for 9 months. I wasn't sure if I should find a specific type of player, so I went ahead and went with any. And I almost had a moment of madness. I almost went out and bought another scout. However, I had to reel myself in because we do have that board expectation of reaching 2,600,000 pounds by the end of the year. But that's actually going to be where we're going to end the episode today. Next time we have our first league game against Colchester and another game against Derby County. That's going to be huge in the EFL Cup. But don't forget, before you go, leave a like down below, comment, let me know how you're liking the series, and don't forget to subscribe for more 0.5 star to 5-star content. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.